Welcome everybody to Peter White Public Library. My name is Marty Atkinson. I'm the Adult Programming Coordinator here. And I want to welcome you all to Bluesday Tuesday. There's a few things that I'm going to just make you aware of that are coming up next week at the library and a couple of weeks past that as well. Next week, Tuesday, we have a new series kicking off thanks to funding from Robert and Meredith Kulishek. We are kicking off Community Conversations. It's going to happen every quarter, and we're going to deal with topics that might be a little difficult to discuss and bringing in experts to talk about them. And this coming Tuesday, it's going to be school bullying abuse prevention. And we're bringing in a national expert, Dr. Amanda Nickerson from the Alberti Center for School Bullying Abuse. And she's written 5 books on the subject, hundreds of articles. She's appeared on CNN, and she's going to be doing a community presentation next Tuesday at 7 p.m. So please come back and see that. It's going to be a really, really wonderful time. And then next week, Wednesday, also as part of Community Conversations, we have Deb, oh, she's going to kill me for not remembering her name. Deb Corello, oh gosh. Deb Corello from Catholic Social Services, who's a therapist and counselor, and she's going to be talking about how to help your child cope with stress, sadness, and anxiety as part of that whole series of Community Conversations. And then we have a really wonderful author who's going to be reading virtually next month, John Billman, who's going to be reading from his book, The Cold Vanish, about people who vanish in the wilderness and are never heard from again. And then at the end of the month, of course, we have Bluesday Tuesday again. And I know that I just found out that the group next month is going to be Blues. Next month, Tuesday, October 25th. And then also the day before, there's going to be a Halloween concert from Northwards and Music, and that's B.G. Bradley, Stephen Hooper, and a couple other people. So anyway, I'm done talking. I'm going to turn it over to these guys. Here they are, UP Gumbo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For those who may not have heard us before, we play music mainly from Louisiana and the Delta, so Mississippi and Louisiana, which have a lot in common. But you know, when you go to blues programs, frequently things are very centered on Chicago or Mississippi. And what I wanted to do was kind of mix in a lot of Louisiana tunes that would kind of decenter us from that, from that orientation. You'll hear how consonant they are. They really are, they flow together pretty well. You got to figure about the turn of the last century when the words for blues and jazz were just starting to get used in some of the newspapers and stuff like that, there was a lot of activity out of both areas, but New Orleans was kind of the center, kind of the blues center. And it was also the center of the burgeoning jazz movement at that time, thanks to guys who we'll never hear because they were never recorded. But anyway, we hope you enjoy some of these songs. We're going to start off with a little editorial here. This is called A Little Louisiana. It's a mighty good way from here to there, lying on the loose everywhere. Put your foot in a pile of blues, and if I may, I'm gonna tell you what to do. Take a Louisiana, Louisiana, little Louisiana, anywhere you go. Who knows what lies around the bend? It could be good, but then again, it could be empty, cold, and bare. Like I say, you gotta be prepared. Take a Louisiana, Louisiana, little Louisiana, anywhere you go. Will you keep it kinda handy, 'cause you don't ever know writing on the wall. All you gotta do is read it. Well, read it. Read off there, woman. Days are few and full of woe. At least the Bible tells me so. So get your loving while you can. It's always good to have on hand. Little Louisiana, Louisiana, little Louisiana. Anywhere you go, well, you keep it kind of handy, 'cause you don't ever know. One day you might really need it. You can see the writing on the wall. All you gotta do is read it. Well, read it. You take a little Louisiana, Louisiana, little Louisiana. Anywhere you go, we talk about Louisiana, Louisiana. Anywhere you go. Thank you. That song was written by Jesse Winchester, who was born in Bossier City, Louisiana. But he lived in Memphis and all over the place. You know, it's not to say that, and the blues idiom was just, you know, incredibly versatile, and the way that the people in Louisiana use blues is a little different. This is one of the songs that was actually part of the early rockabilly era. It was written by Webb Pierce, who had a guitar-shaped swimming pool and a Cadillac full of silver dollars with a great big longhorns on the front of it. He was from about as far uptown as you can get, you know. And he and Mel Tillis wrote this song. Well, I ain't never seen nobody like you. Never have I ever seen nobody like you. Well, you call me up, say you meet me at 9. I have to hurry, but I'm there on time. I walk right up and knock on your door. The landlord says she ain't here no more. Ain't never, oh darling, I seen nobody like you. But I love you, yes I love you. I love you just the same. Will you tell me things that you don't mean? You got me living in a haunted dream. You make me do things I don't want to do. My friends all say, what's wrong with you? I ain't never, oh darling, I seen nobody like you. But I love you, yes I love you. I love you just the same. I love you just the same. Last time, I love you just the same. Thank you. We do a Cajun one here. This is from D.L. Menard, who was one of the really famous, Cajun guys. Passed away. When did he pass away? A couple years ago? Was it that long ago?
Yeah, about 3 years.
Yeah. Anyway, he was a young man, playing his fiddle music. He got to meet Hank Williams, who was a big idol of his at the time he was a young man. And I guess I don't know if they collaborated in this song, but he claims that this song's influenced a lot by Honky Tonk Blues, or one of those songs that Hank Williams did. Anyway, it's a song about, well, I think you'll get it. It's called The Back Door. Me and my babe went out for a dance. Went to every single honky tonk. We got back the next morning. Just when the dawn was breaking, I entered through the back door. That afternoon I went to town. Got so drunk that I was falling down. When I got home, it's like a foreign land, with all kind of strange people there, and I entered through the back door. All right, Warren. My old man, one night when I arrived, tried to tell me I should change my life. I was too hard-headed, I just couldn't see. He said, one of these days you're gonna be sorry you entered through the back door. Well, I had a lot of friends when I had money. The more I had, the more to come to see me. I went downtown, I got myself in a fight. The police are taking me to jail tonight, and we'll enter through the back door. We'll enter through the back door. All right. One of the big powerhouse blues players today, has been for some years, from Louisiana, is a guy named Tab Benoit. And you might have seen him. He's been up here a few times. From the Blues Festival, there was a concert I know at NMU once. He's a really incredible guitar player and great entertainer. And he wrote this song I'm about to play from when he lost his house to Hurricane Rita. It's from Oma, Louisiana, and he had a house there, and I guess it blew the roof off and, destroyed the place. And he said it got him to thinking about what was important to him, and he wrote this song called When a Cajun Man Gets the Blues. My cherie, they left me for good. After being together for so long, she's out there with somebody new. And I just can't make it here alone. You know it's hard to drive with tears in my eyes. Takes a long time to get to Baton Rouge. All I want, somebody to sing my song when a Cajun man gets a blues. When I'm feeling the weight of the water, I know there's blues in the quarter. If I can hold back my tears, I'll get to you, I'll be alright. But I might need you, New Orleans, every night. Hear those spoons? Now I don't know what I did without you. When you've been there for me all this time. From Lafayette to Thibodeau and Lake Charles, Cocodrie and Shreveport and Grand Isle. When I'm feeling the pain by calling my name, and that's an offer I just can't refuse. You know it's hard to miss you, Louisiana, when a Cajun man gets a blue. I say it's hard to miss you, good old Louisiana, when a Cajun man got the blues. Warren hands on the fiddle over there. Jazz in New Orleans is right, it seems to be right there at the turn of the century already. There's a guy named Billy Bolden who's credited with a lot of the jazz development at the time. I think there was a movie recently made about him, but nobody has any recordings of Billy Bolden, so he was a legend, about the time when the public became really aware of jazz. This is a song that was written by a guy named Henry Creamer. He's the guy who wrote Basin Street Blues, and he wrote this one in 1922. Anyway, it's called Way Down Yonder in New Orleans. Way down yonder in New Orleans, in the land of those dreamy scenes, there's a Garden of Eden, you know what I mean. Creole babies with flashing eyes, country whisper with tender sighs, and you stop. Won't you give your lady fair a little smile? You stop. You bet your life you linger there a little while. There's a heaven right here on earth. It's those beautiful queens way down yonder in New Orleans. Eden, you know what I mean. A Creole lady with flashing eyes, stop to whisper with tender sighs, and you stop. Won't you give your lady fair a little smile? You stop, you bet your life you'll linger there a little while. There's a heaven right here on earth with those beautiful queens way down yonder in New Orleans. I said way down yonder in New Orleans. All right. 1922. Now, it's kind of hard to believe that made the top 10 in the 1950s for Freddy Cannon. You know Freddy Cannon.
Personal friend of mine.
Freddy Boom Boom Cannon.
Yes.
Yes.
You're like this.
Is he? Was he from Connecticut?
He was close. He might have been from New Jersey.
Jersey. Could have been from Jersey. Rex is from Connecticut, so he knows all those East Coast bigwigs, you know. Okay, we're going to do one. Now we're going to do just a contrast to that kind of stuff, you know, which is a lot of it's kind of bouncy, and it's got a different style of rhythm to Mississippi music, which tends to be, I don't know how to explain this for non-musicians. It's got a triplet feel to it, which is where we get the shuffle. You know, the shuffle is, you know, it's actually a bunch of 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 kind of lines like that, and it gives the Mississippi music a different feel. So we're going to do this Robert Johnson tune, trying to show you some of that. Got a kind-hearted woman, do anything in the world for me. Kind-hearted woman, do anything in the world for me. Them evil-hearted women, man, well, it will not let me be. My baby don't love me. I love my baby. My baby don't love me. I really love that woman, man. Just can't stand to leave her be. Let's play one. There ain't but one thing make Mr. Johnson drink. It's the way you treat me, baby, and I begin to think, whoa, baby, my life just ain't the same. You know it breaks my heart, baby. You call me Mr. So-and-so's name. Got a kind-hearted woman, studies evil all the time. Got a kind-hearted woman, studies evil all the time. You know she'd just as soon kill me as to have it on her mind. All right. Little Delta music there. I couldn't do a thing with that Little Louisiana twist without bringing up Little Walter, who was such an important part of the development of early Chicago blues. His name is Marion Walter Jacobs, and he was born in Marksville, Louisiana. He quit school when he was 12 and started dancing and doing little hijinks in front of bands for tips. And when he was just a kid, but eventually he learned how to play guitar and he learned how to play harmonica. He even got on some recording sessions and ended up eventually in Chicago in the 1940s. In the late 40s, he met Muddy Waters. And Muddy Waters was just beginning to develop this electric blues kind of technique and style, you know. And Little Walter plugged in his harmonica mic to a guitar amp, and it just changed everything. The whole sound of the harmonica was way different than it had ever been before, and it became a lead instrument in a way that it hadn't been in other, you know, in other music development. So that was Walter's contribution, and he was, you know, still considered to be one of the absolute greats when it came to that little 10-hole harmonicas. We're going to do one that Walter recorded from a song that Willie Dixon stole from Sister Rosetta Tharpe. There's a song called This Train. Anybody heard that gospel tune? This train don't carry no gamblers, this train? Probably heard it one time or another. Well, Willie Dixon made up a song called My Babe that fit that, and Walter recorded it. We're going to do that one. Anybody out here play harmonica? My baby don't stand no cheating, my baby. Oh yeah, she don't stand no cheating, my baby. My baby don't stand no cheating, don't stand none of that midnight creeping, my baby. True little baby, my baby. My baby, and I know she loved me, my baby. Oh yeah, well I know she loved me, my baby. My babe, I know she loved me. Don't do nothing but kiss and hug me, my babe. True little baby, my babe. Let's say one. My baby don't stand no fooling, my baby. Oh no, she don't stand no fooling, my baby. My baby don't stand no fooling, and when she's hot there ain't no cooling, my baby. True little baby, my baby. My baby, I stand no cheating, my baby. Oh no, she don't stand no cheating, my baby. My baby don't stand no cheating, and everything she do so pleasing, my baby. True little baby, my baby. My baby, true little baby, my baby. One more, my baby, true little baby, my baby. All right. Little Walter. By the way, that they collected those. Little Walter got mugged and died of injuries sustained in the mugging. at some point. I think that was around 62 or something. Might have been even a little earlier than that. Okay. It's hard to talk to young people, you know? Anyway, so they collected Walter's recordings, which were on Checker Records, which is one of the labels that Chess used. And I don't think that record has ever gone out of print, that Little Walter's Greatest Hits. We're going to do a song from the Zydeco tradition. Zydeco is from, well, there's a lot of different, efforts to come up with a meaning for it, but I know that Zydeco is at least one word for snap beans in one of the African languages. And it was the music of the free Creole black people in Louisiana. Louisiana is an interesting state from that standpoint. There were always free people of color in Louisiana, even during slave times. So it has a different kind of. You should see the way they handled the census. They came up with all these different names for people who were like partly black and partly Indian and partly all those things. To account for it, just to try and do some kind of accurate census. But I don't know if they ever really caught all the diversity of Louisiana. This is a song that was written by C.J. Chenier, who was the son of Clifton Chenier. And Clifton Chenier was the first guy to really become a pop star on Zydeco music. This is called Richest Man. If I had $1 for every time you broke my heart, messed up my mind, I'd be the richest man in the world. If trouble earned interest, you might return. I'd have a new car, money to burn, and I'd be the richest man in the world. Well, how can the love I'm dreaming of be so hard to find? Good woman's touch, morning when I rise, and baby, I'd give her every single dime. If teardrops were diamonds from the African mine, heartaches were silver, my whole life would shine. I'd be the richest man in the world. Well, how can the love I'm dreaming of be so hard to find? Good woman's touch, mornings when I rise, and baby, I'd give her every single dime. If teardrops were diamonds from the African mine, heartache face was silver, my whole life would shine. I'd be the richest man, richest man. I'd be the richest man, richest man. I'd be the richest man, richest man in the world. Oh, yes, I would. All right. That's a cool song. We're going to get into a Mississippi tuning here. For guitar players out there, this isn't the complicated one. This is just drop D. Well, don't stop there. I was almost there. I'm in D sharp. My tuner's got a. There we are. I knew something was wrong. He's doing 2 shows a night. You just wanna.
I'll be here Thursday. Try the deal.
Back by unpopular demand.
Okay, another thing about Mississippi music is a little different from Louisiana too. Is when those guys in the Delta didn't play guitar, and I mean, it seems incredibly fancy to someone who hasn't tried to play it, and it's tough, but it's built on some techniques that you just don't find in other kind of guitar players, and one of them is what's called the steady bass system in guitar playing, which is really popular among acoustic blues guys from the Delta. And instead of playing an alternating pattern, something like that in the bass. These guitar players didn't have a bass player. You don't see bass players. You might saw a snare drum. They just stay on the tonic, which in this case is the bass, that top bass note. You just hear that all the time. I'm going to do a variation on that. An old Tommy Johnson tune. This is called Big Road Blues. Crying, I ain't going down that big road by myself. Can't you hear me talking pretty mama saying, ain't going down that big road by myself. If I can't carry you, I'm gonna carry somebody else. What makes you do me like you do? Can't you hear me talking pretty mama saying, what makes you do me like you do? Look like you're gonna do me like you done some others too. sure enough won't take mine. You take a poor boy's money now, sure enough won't take mine. You know the sun's gonna shine on my back door someday. Can't you hear me talking, pretty mama saying the sun gonna shine on my back door someday. You know the wind gonna change, gonna blow my blues away. By myself, can't you hear me talking, pretty mama saying, ain't going down that big road by myself. If I can't carry you, I'm gonna carry somebody else. If I can't carry you, I'm gonna carry somebody else. Thank you. You get an idea what that steady bass thing is, a just relentless beat. And that song was recorded in 1927. So, see how far ahead of things these guys were. Sound. Okay. No, I got to get it right. I mean, I remember times we were out playing and I'd forget to change back to the regular tuning. You know, things would really get strange sounding, you know, really esoteric. We do a song here that was, again, this is kind of that steady bass thing. But this one is, this is one that Robert Johnson stole from Sun House. I think it's Preachin' Blues. Sun House has some of these recordings that just go on for a long time. And by the time you're through listening to them, you think you heard about 2 or 3 songs. And it's all just been one, you know. And he's got all the verses to Walkin' Blues, and, which is the one we're going to play here in one of those songs. So it would have been familiar to Robert Johnson. He was Robert Johnson was a younger contemporary of Sun House. Sun House said he was really good and he couldn't teach him anything. This is called Walkin' Blues. Woke up this morning, I look around for my shoes. You know I had them walking blue. Woke up this morning, I felt around for my shoes. Feel like I had them mean old walking blue. I feel like blowing my lonesome horn. Woke up this morning, my Bernice was gone. Woke up this morning, I was feeling like blowing my lonesome horn. got an Elgin movement from a head to a toe. Break down on the dollar most anywhere she go. Just like my Elgin, head down to a toe. Break down on dollar most anywhere she goes. Made it seem like hours seem like days. And since my baby got them low down ways, made it seem like hours seem like days. Since my baby, she got them low down ways. Leaving here this morning, have to ride the blind. You know I've been mistreated and I don't mind dying. Leaving here this morning, have to ride the blind. I've been mistreated and I don't mind dying. Woke up this morning, look around for my shoes. You know I had them walking blue. Woke up this morning, felt around for my shoes. You know I had them mean old walking blue. You know I had them mean old walking blue. All right. I'm going to do one from a guy became a big star of the one song. He'd been a rock and roll player in Louisiana and then kind of rediscovered his roots in Zydeco music and began to generate some hits. They called him Rockin' Sidney. His name was Sidney Sameen, and his son Terrence is still playing. Is playing out there. I saw Rockin' Sidney in Austin one time. He'd just come off the plane, and this is at the Willie Nelson 4th of July picnic, and Willie heard the song we're about to play, and he literally called him up, told him to get on a plane, come to the festival. So they came right off the festival. The guys they're wearing suits and cowboy hats, and they got a big rub board on. They're really dressed up, you know. Everybody else sort of looks like, you know, I don't know, cowboys. But they really, they stole the show. They were great. Rockin' Sidney. The song's called Toot Toot, which is the word toot in French means all or everything, you know. Or it might mean right now, like in tout suite, but tout le monde means the whole world, you know. And if someone is your toot toot, that's your everything. You know, that's your sweetheart. That's what this is about. Gotta get the timer right. Don't mess with my toot toot. Don't mess with my toot toot. You could have the other woman. Don't mess with my toot toot. Well, she was born in the basement. A doctor slapped her behind. He said she's gonna be special. She's gonna be fine. Well, the mama was the same way too. All the fellas followed her from school. Papa didn't know what to do by that sweet little toot toot. Don't mess with my toot toot. Don't mess with my toot toot. You could have the other woman. Don't mess with my toot toot. Mess with that one. When she was born in a birth suit, a doctor slapped her behind. Said you're gonna be real cute. That sweet little toot toot. Well, you can look as much, but if you much you touch, you're gonna get yourself a case. I'm gonna break your face. Don't mess with my toot toot. Don't mess with my toot toot. You can have the other woman. Don't mess with my toot toot. Don't mess with my toot toot. Don't mess with my toot toot. You can have the other woman. Don't mess with my toot toot. Toot toot. Oops. Finger picks are not very good for doing anything digital, you know, except play guitar. Don't try to button a shirt with them on and stuff, you know. We're going to do a song that was written by Charlie Rich, before he became the Silver Fox, you know. People here know who Charlie Rich was? I've got some of those big Dean Martin-like hits he had, but if you go back to his early career, he was a piano player, songwriter, and singer at Chess Records. And he was great. I mean, when I go back and listen to those things, I just hear these wonderful songs. Anyway, he wrote this one called No Headstone on My Grave. Well, my like 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon thing to Louisiana on this is the fact that this song became a hit for Jerry Lee Lewis, who was from Louisiana. So. Don't put no headstone on my grave. All my life I've been a slave, and I don't want the world to know. Here lies the man that loved you so. And don't send no flowers when I'm gone. lay me down and then move on. Lay me down, set me free, free from all this misery. And now my mother, not to cry, I'll see her in the by and by. Tell her that I'm finally free from all the trouble you caused me. And don't put no headstone on my grave. All my life I've been a slave, and I don't want the world to know. Here lies the man that loved you so. My mother not to cry, I'll see her in the by and by. And tell her that I'm finally free from all the trouble you caused me. And don't set no headstone on my grave. All my life I've been a slave, and I don't want the world to know. Here lies the man that loved you so. Don't want the world to know. Here lies the man that loved you so. All right, headstone. Charlie Rich. He really had a lot of cards he wasn't showing, I'm telling you. I was kind of sad when he became a huge star, but of course I was happy for him. He's making all that money. He got to retire and everything. But those early records, those early R&B records he made for Sun were pretty great. We're going to do one right now that was written by the guy who wrote the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy of Company B. His name was Don Ray, and he also wrote The House of Blue Lights, if anybody knows that song, which was another big hit from the late 40s. My favorite recordings of any of his stuff are by a lady named Edna Mae Morse, who was a teenager when she started singing with a big Texas swing band and started playing some of these recordings by Don Ray, or some of these songs. And she's still on the internet. You can see old recordings of her playing and stuff, and some interviews and stuff. But she was amazing, great singer, someone who doesn't get the credit she deserves. Anyway, this is a song about a juke joint, essentially. It's called Down the Road a Piece. Well, if you wanna hear some boogie woogie, I know a place. It's just an old piano and a knocked out bass. The drummer's old cat called kicking the chord. Do you remember the rubber leg boy? Your mom's cooked chicken fried and bacon and grease. Come on along, boys, it's just down the road to be. Hey, Warren. There's a place where to get your kicks. It's open every night about 12 to 6. Well, if you want to hear some boogie, you can get your fill. Shove it through you like an old steam drill. Come on along for the Louisiana. It's down the road, down the road, down the road to Peel. Down the road, down the road, down the road to Peel. A little further down the road to Peace, where there's no cover charge but to be in style. $1 in the kitty every once in a while. I love them boys with the driving beat. A little further down the road to Peace, past time. Okay. There was a big Western swing movement in Louisiana. There probably still may be. It's in the on the eastern end, as I understand it, in the northeast part of Louisiana. So it's a little different from the stuff we all seem to know about from the southwestern part, which is Cajun country and Zydeco and that kind of thing. How are we doing for time? Oh, I can
25 minutes.
barely see a clock. Okay. Anybody need a break or anything? Because we're happy to just play right through. The bars in New Orleans, Rob Rust, who's a New Orleanian, who's the maitre d' over there at Lagniappe, he tells me there's some that never close, but a lot of the bars close at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's just long enough, to drag out the bodies and hose it down, that kind of thing before they let other people in. And it's about one of those places. There's a place I know way across town, no flashing light, but the sign is down. On the one-way street, it's hard to find. If you ain't careful, you can have a good time. Got the dance floor crowded, serving beer and wine. You find a place, you could tell them you're a friend of mine. Josephine, don't you be no square, Josephine. You can boogie down there when the joint starts jumping. You can have a ball. Josephine, they come from miles around, Josephine. You could take me on down, 'cause I ain't no closing time down Josephine. When the party gets started, there ain't no end. Like there's no tomorrow and there's no more sin. You can lose your blues to the time at hand. You can dance real crazy to a rock and roll band. Joe's the queen of the hop by that old man stand. And when she starts to shimmy, the boys all call her name. Josephine, don't you be no square, Josephine. You can boogie down there. Well, the joint starts jumping, you can have a ball. Josephine, I come from miles around. Josephine, you can take me on down, 'cause there ain't no closing time down to Josephine. Tell 'em about it, Warren. Still something to do. You could dance all night to a serious Jew. Night dress people wearing high heel shoes. When the morning comes, I'd like to give you the blues, but you ain't lost nothing, you got nothing to lose. We'll all get together again by the evening news. Josephine, don't you be no square, Josephine. You can boogie down there when the joint starts jumping. You can have a ball. Josephine, they come from miles around, Josephine. You can take me on down, 'cause there ain't no closing time down to Josephine. I said there ain't no closing time down to Josephine. Well, there ain't no closing time down to Josephine. All right. We're going to do a tune here from that was a hit in the 50s on Sun Records, another one of those. It was written by a guy named Harold Dorman, which I know is a household name, right? Or, among pop singers, Harold Dorman's probably the most obscure, but he had a big hit. He had a really big hit in the 50s on a song that was later picked up in the early 60s by a kid from Baton Rouge. His family had moved to Baton Rouge. His name was Bobby Ramastelli. And Bobby Ramastelli was fascinated by music of Louisiana and the early rock stuff there, R&B there, and he named himself after the Mississippi. So he called himself Johnny Rivers. That's where that name came from. So we're going to do that. See if you recognize this Harold Dorman hit, which was made popular by Johnny Rivers. It was actually real popular in its own time, but when the record landed a recording contract for Dorman. By the way, it was a childhood friend of Charlie Pride from Mississippi. So here you got Mississippi and Louisiana crossing in this song, the development of this song. Anyway, he wasn't able to repeat the success at Sun, so we didn't hear much from him after that, but this was a great song nonetheless, still is. Standing on the mountain looking down on the city, way I feel there's a doggone pit. Teardrops falling down the mountainside. And many times I've been there, many times I cried. I used to be so happy when we were in love, high on the mountain of love. Night after night I've been standing there alone, weeping my heart out the cold gray dawn, hoping that you're lonely and you come here too. I'm praying for a chance just to get a glimpse of you, trying not to find you somewhere above, high on the mountain of love. A mountain of love, mountain of love, you should be ashamed. You used to be a mountain of love, but you just changed your name. Way down below there's a 500,000 people. Somewhere there's a church with a big tall steeple. Inside the church there's an altar filled with flowers. A wedding bells are ringing that should have been ours. That's why I'm so lonely and dreams high above, high on the mountain of love. shame. You used to be a mountain of love, but you just changed your name. Way down below there's 500,000 people. Somewhere there's a church with a big tall steeple. Inside a church there's an altar filled with flowers. A wedding bells are ringing that should have been ours. That's why I'm so lonely and dreams I love. High on a mountain of love. High on a mountain of love. High on a mountain of love. All right. Okay. Let me introduce everybody here. Rex Havoc here is our bass player. He's actually a very versatile musician, playing bass for us. There you go. That's our chief instrumentalist across the way there, Warren Hands on fiddle and piano and a bunch of other instruments to give him a chance. Great vocals. And this is the Bones Band, Randy Sepala on rustic percussion and other things. I'm Bill Hart on resonator guitar. And we're UP Gumbo. There was a guy who recorded on it, one of the New Orleans guys who recorded for Atlantic Records. There weren't many, but one of them, beginning in the 1940s, was a guy named Henry Roland Bird, who had picked up all kinds of interesting piano things from Caribbean musicians and stuff. I won't go into all the details, but anyway, he was a very versatile piano player who sort of got that Spanish Caribbean kind of thing going in his playing, and everybody copied him, in New Orleans at one time or another, or learned from him. This is one of his songs. It's called Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Okay, remember we wait until the 4. Got to see the Mardi Gras. Going down in New Orleans, you got to see the Mardi Gras. Got to see the Mardi Gras. Find out carnival's fall. Going down in New Orleans, got my ticket in my hand. Going down in New Orleans, got my ticket in my hand. When I get to New Orleans, I'm gonna see the Zulu King. Down on Rampart and Dumaine, way down in New Orleans, down on Rampart and Dumaine. Got to find my stand to play just to see the Zulu Queen. Going down in New Orleans, you got to see the Mardi Gras. Going down in New Orleans, you got to see the Mardi Gras. Got to see the Mardi Gras. Find out what's carnival for. Got to see the Mardi Gras. Find out what's carnival for. All right. That was one of the classic, there are a bunch of these songs, a bunch of these Mardi Gras songs that turn up all the time. Somebody have a question or something? Oh. So, I'm sorry? Oh, thank you. This guitar is made out of bell brass, and it's a copy. I got a reproduction of a guitar that was introduced in 1930 by the National Guitar Company. It was called the Standard O. And today it's the most copied, still the Standard O is probably the most copied of the resonator guitars. It was invented by a couple of Hungarian immigrants who were fascinated with the radio. So it's got a kind of a speaker, it's an aluminum cone on the inside here that, resonates literally. And it was like the first amplified instrument. Any questions? Okay. This is a song that was a big hit in 1959 by some boys from Lake Charles, I think. The band was called Cookie and the Cupcakes. And this song went all the way to like number 40 or something in 1959 when it came out. But it, over the years, it gained in popularity, and not that long ago, it was voted by disc jockeys across Louisiana as the #1 swamp pop ballad. All right, this music, this R&B stuff is called swamp pop. So I really love this song, but what I love most about it is his harmony. you hear the harmony on this, it's just gorgeous. Now, Cookie and the Cupcakes had like 4 or 5 parts or something, I don't know, but we're just going to do it, just us chickens here. The song's called Matilda. Another good thing about it, just hearing a lot of Matilda songs, Waltzing Matilda is about the only one, Okay. Oh, also, just because I can, I'm going to tell you, this is in 6/8 time. This is that dance time that everybody kind of knows in their bones, I think, who grew up with American pop music. And it's a very popular time signature for these ballads out of Louisiana. Your love for me will always be here to stay so tenderly. Matilda, I cried and cried for you. Love you no matter what you do. Matilda, I cried and cried for you. Love you no matter what you do. You know I cried and cried in vain. I want my baby back again. You gave me love when there was none. Darling, you're the only one. You'll leave and fill my heart with pain. I want my baby back again. Matilda, I cried and cried. Love you no matter what you do. You know I cried in vain. I want my baby back again. You gave me love when there was none. Darling, you're the only one. Your leaving filled my heart with pain. I want my baby back again. But till I cried and cried for you. Love you no matter what you do. You know I cried in vain. I want my baby back again. But till I cried and cried for you. Love you no matter what you do. You know I cried in vain. I want my baby back again. All right. Matilda, Cookie and the Cupcakes. If you can find that record, it's probably worth something. Oh, we're going to do another Mardi Gras tune. Yeah, I know it. Do you think this one's good? Meet the Boys?
Which one are you doing?
Meet the Boys? Okay. We're going to do two more. And the first one is just this one that nobody gets to hear much unless you're... Mardi Gras time, I mentioned there are all these songs that are kind of standards, just usually played around Mardi Gras. Iko Iko would be one of them, and which was actually called, let's see, I forgot the original title of it, Sugar Boy Crawford. But anyway, it's one of those songs that comes up. The one about Mardi Gras in New Orleans is one, and this is one. This is called Meet the Boys, and it's about these neighborhoods that all get together and they make costumes all year. They sew all year to make these elaborate costumes that are patterned after Native American costumes. And commemorating a time when Native Americans took in runaway slaves. And they have contests and they do practical jokes and all kinds of things. Mostly it's a singing and dancing kind of contest, and all these tribes, these Indian tribes, compete around the city. One of the most well-known of these tribes are called the Wild Chapatulas. You can look them up on the internet, although it's almost impossible to spell if you haven't seen it. But anyway. Meet the boys on the battlefront. Meet the boys on the battlefront. Meet the boys on the battlefront. You know, Wild Chapatula gonna stomp some rump. Prettiest thing I ever seen. Mardi Gras engine down in New Orleans. So all night, so all day. Come the morning, give it all away. Well, the bands are coming from all over town. Big Chief Sing gonna take 'em down. Giacomo Fina, Hanane. The engines all rulers on holiday. Is up down the avenue. Here come the engines, now let them through. Well, I'm an engine ruler from a 13th ward, a big chief kahuna, I won't be bought. I walk through fire, swam through mud, snatch a feather from an eagle, drink panther blood. Meet the boys on the battlefront. Meet the boys on the battlefront. Meet the boys on the battlefront. You know, Wild Chapatula gonna stomp some rump. I got an itty-bitty spy with a heart of steel. The shank won't get you, then the hatchet will. Get him a hookah, whom ya know. He shot the gun out the jailhouse door. I take my gang all over town. We drink fire water till the sun goes down. Come the morning, gonna kneel and pray. We all had fun on holiday. Meet the boys on the battlefront. Meet the boys on the battlefront. Meet the boys on the battlefront. You know, Wild Chapatula gonna stomp some rump. Meet the boys on the battlefront. Meet the boys on the battlefront. Meet the boys on the battlefront. You know, Wild Chapatula gonna stomp some rump. All right. Okay, we're going to do one more here. This is a song that really doesn't have much to do with the program. It's just that we do. I heard this song years ago by a guy named Russell Smith, who was with a band called the Amazing Rhythm Aces. It was a terrific band out of Canada, and at one point they were the backup band for Jesse Winchester, and that's when I first heard them. And then I heard from some friends in Texas that band was really, really good, so I started looking up the Rhythm Aces, and this just turned out to be an amazing group. And Russell Smith, the guy who was the leader of the band, died a couple of years ago. He was 70 years old, and at all his gigs, he always played this as the last song, so I think it's a good one. It's called The End Is Not in Sight.
And we would like to thank Jeff and the Blues Society for having us back again.
Yeah, really.
Thank
And
you very
Marty,
much, Jeff.
and Marty Achatz, too. Thank you so much for
Thank you
doing
very
this.
much. Thanks for having me.
And Mark, where is he? Here. He's here someplace, or I thought he was. Mark Mackey had a lot to do with this, too. song's called The End Is Not in Sight. Well, I knew it all along. I have to come back home. Just living on the road. Well, it made me tired and sore. Like a bird without a nest, like a stranger in the night. You know my soul must have its rest. The end is not in sight. Like a sweet magnolia wine, honey dripping from your mouth. And that little gal of mine, oh, is the finest in the South. Days are getting harder, nights are getting colder. You know I wanna go back home, lay my head down on your shoulder. I knew it all along. I have to come back home. Just living on the road. Well, it made me tired and sore. Like a bird without a nest, like a stranger in the night. You know my soul cries out for rest, but the end is not in sight. My soul must have its rest. The end is not in sight. You know my soul must have its rest. The end is not in sight. You know my soul must have its rest. The end is not in sight. Warren Hands, Randy Sepula, Rex Havoc, I'm Bill Hart. Thanks so much for being here tonight. We really had a good time.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you coming.